welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and today I'm doing the mid-year book freakout tag. Is it August? Yes. Is this coming late? Yes. But I feel like every other year I make up an excuse that I'm waiting till July to post this. I forgot about it, and every year I forget about it until I get to the part of my watch later when people are doing it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that would be a great video to do. Let's do it. So this is a really old tag, but I will leave a link down below to the creators who created this tag just to give them credit. Although I don't think they are making videos anymore. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. So let's get started right away with the first question for this tag, which is, how has your 2024 reading year gone so far? Horrible. Not really that bad. I've read 66 books as of right now, August 7th. So that's not like terrible, but for me, I expected a bit more of myself, but I should give myself like some leeway, a little bit of grace, just because if you didn't know, I did get pregnant this year. Obviously, with creating life, I have just not been as motivated to do other things like my hobbies and making videos. So obviously there comes a little catch, and I should be much prouder of myself. But it's also horrid in a way because I don't feel like I've been reading a lot of books that I have been enjoying. I have had some 5 stars for sure this year, but I feel like a lot of what I've read is mediocre, and I just want that to change as the year moves forward. Next up, we have what has been the best book you read so far in 2024, and that for sure is A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. I love Becky Chambers. If you've watched any wrap-up potentially on my channel, you will know that I really enjoy Becky Chambers' writing, and A Psalm for the Wild Built was no different. I read this back in January and it has stuck with me until now, until August. It basically follows centuries into a like similar futuristic planet to ours, where robots once were sentient, or they're still sentient, but they moved away from humans and left the humans behind. And the story starts when one of these robots is met by a tea monk in the forest, and the robot asks them what they could do to help. So I obviously love this. I gave it 5 stars. I read it at just the right time in my life at the beginning of January. I was turning 31, so I was entering my 30s. It was really difficult and weird for me. And it's a like perfect little book that really looks into our purpose in the world, who we are, how we relate to the overall like atmosphere of the world. And much like the characters, I felt so much comfort reading this novella like I was drinking a warm cup of tea. There is a second book to this duology. I have it somewhere, so I will definitely be reading it soon, because I think it's a time in my life again this year where I need to just read something amazing that will comfort me, cuddle me, and make me feel like a normal human being. And that's exactly what this book did for me in January. The next question is the best sequel that I've read so far in 2024. And that was once again another January banger, Nona the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. This is the 3rd book in the Locked Tomb series that starts with Gideon the Ninth. In Gideon the Ninth, we follow this character named Gideon who wants to escape their planet. However, her childhood nemesis Harrowhark will not let her go without doing her a service. Harrowhark is the reverend daughter of the 9th house, and she has been called into action because the emperor of all the houses is inviting all of the heirs to a trial in order to become one of his like elite members. And Gideon is sort of tasked with going there to represent the planet as well as one of the knights. The different planets all deal with some sort of aspect of necromancy, so obviously this story appeals to me so much. I give the first book 5 stars. I give the second book 5 stars. Obviously, I was going to give Nona 5 stars. This quickly became one of my favorite series just because I find Tamsin Muir to be so incredibly intelligent. Also unhinged, completely unhinged, but immensely intelligent. Like the way that this series navigates, moves, changes is just astronomically mind-blowing. Like I'm not even capable of understanding how she possibly does the things that she does. I can't wait for Electo. That is one of my most anticipated reads whenever it comes out. I'm eagerly anticipating it, but if you haven't picked up the Locked Tomb series, I would highly recommend. The next question is a new release that you haven't read yet but want to, and I think my only real answer for this could be Leigh Bardugo's The Familiar. I am planning to read it this month, but it is a highly anticipated read for me. I really love Leigh Bardugo. I've read everything that Leigh Bardugo has written, I think, besides this one. The synopsis always like trips me up, but basically it follows a woman named Luzia Cotado who uses scraps of magic to get through her days as a scullion. But when her mistress discovers that Luzia is able to utilize magic or some sort of magic, she demands that Luzia uses these powers in order to better the family's financial position. This is like historical fiction fantasy, which I love. So I have a really, really good feeling about this one. Like I said, I'll be reading it really, really soon, so I can't wait to pick this up. The next question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I think it goes without saying that my most highly anticipated release this year is Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. This is the 5th book in the Stormlight archive and the finale of the first half. So it's going to be incredible. I already know. I'm currently rereading The Way of Kings in anticipation of this release, just because I feel like so much is said and done in this series by Brandon Sanderson that I need to reread it in order to like fully be aware and conscious of what is going on in the 5th book. If you've never read The Way of Kings, if you don't know what The Way of Kings is, I would be surprised. But it basically takes place on this planet called Rashar, which is plagued by like winds and storms. These tempests of incredible power are like spread throughout the land, so the cities are sort of built on top of and underneath them. It has been centuries since the fall of the Knights of Radiance, who had these mystical swords and suits that would transform these men into like incredible warriors, but these shard plates and shard blades have remained for normal knights to sort of pick up and use. Wars are obviously fought for them and won by them. And the story revolves around a different group of characters, and like that's all I can really say without spoiling a lot. Like each book is about 1,000 pages, so there's a lot that goes on, and revisiting The Way of Kings, which is the 1st book, has rekindled my love for the series. Obviously, I gave every single one like I think 5 stars or 4 stars at least. And I'm just excited for this next release. I'm excited to see how the book ends, where we got to where we are. Brandon Sanderson, in my mind, can do no wrong. So we'll see how it goes. Next, we have the biggest disappointment of 2024 so far. That was so hard for me to say. And unfortunately, I have to give this one to An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. I was really, really anticipating this one because I loved S.T. Gibson's first release, which was A Dowry of Blood. It was a vampire novel. It was like a Dracula retelling told from his wives. I loved it. I thought it was so well done. So obviously when a Carmilla retelling with An Education of Malice was coming out by the same person who wrote a fantastic vampire novel, I was intrigued. This is a retelling in a sense, but it sort of just draws on the same themes and characters. It takes place in a school in Massachusetts, which is like very dark academia, very like spooky, which I was into. And it follows 2 girls named Laura and Carmilla as they sort of fight for the attention and confidence of their teacher named De La Fontaine, who is their like poetry literature teacher. I thought that the tension, or the on-page tension rather, of Carmilla and Laura to be interesting. Obviously, we don't see that in the original novel, but I think what my issue here was that the plot wasn't strong enough to hold my attention for that long. Like we couldn't only rely on the sapphic romance and the like dark mystical setting. I liked that there was sort of this discussion about power imbalance between vampires and their subordinates, between teachers and their subordinates, between romantic endeavors in general. But I don't feel like S.T. Gibson went that hard into the theme, and I expected her to, just based on the themes that were in A Dowry of Blood. So it just felt really too simplistic for what I was expecting from the author, and I was just disappointed by this read overall. And quite frankly, it tainted my excitement for her next books, and I know she has another one coming out soon, and I just haven't been interested to pick this one up at all. So that's my disappointment. The next question is my biggest surprise of 2024 so far, and I definitely have to say it's Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. This is a really, really, really weird book that follows a young woman named Natsuki, who since her childhood has believed that she is an alien, or she's at least from a different planet, and she always hoped that one day a spaceship would come to take her home. The story unfolds as Natsuki tries to do more and more in order to be taken back to her home planet. I have heard, and I'm sure you too, have heard so many things about this book that I was not sure what to expect. I didn't know if I was going to like it, but I should have known. It's a weird book. I like weird books. I was bound to like this one. It has a freaking hamster on the front cover. Murata completely enveloped me in a world that I really believed in. Not that I believe that I will be taken by these like planets, and not that I would commit the actions that the characters do in this book, but I think Murata did a really great job at like commenting on social norms and the extremes that people will do or not do to uphold their own thoughts in their mind. It was so unhinged, it was so weird, and it was so perfect for me. I definitely need to read more weird books like this. Love this. I would recommend it, but with like a little star with a little asterisk caveat that you need to look up the trigger warnings because it is weird and I don't want you to judge me. The next question is favorite new author. So that could be new to you or debut. This is definitely a new to me author, but heavily heavily enjoyed author, Akwaeke Emezi. I read Pet, I think like 2 months ago, and I was completely enveloped by the story of a young child named Jam, who, along with the other children in the neighborhood, have been taught that there are no monsters, there is no evil. They live in essentially a perfect society. One day, Jam meets this creature named Pet, who emerges out of a painting in order to look for a monster. This is a monster who is haunting Jam's best friend, Redemption's family. So Jam must not only fight to save her best friend, but also uncover the truth about whether or not monsters still exist in their society. This really exceeded my expectations. I didn't expect a lot coming from a middle grade novel, and I just can't believe how well Akwaeke Emezi did with this book. And so it just made me really keen to read more of their stories, knowing that I really enjoy their writing style. It was a very difficult read, this book in particular, and handled a very difficult subject, but I can see how Akwaeke Emezi needed to tell the story. I'm really looking forward to reading another book from them. I just haven't found the perfect book to read. The next question I usually skip, but it's newest fictional crush. I don't think I particularly have one yet. There is at least not a character that I'm thinking in my head that I'm like, oh yeah, I love that person. So we'll move into the next question, and that is a book that made you cry, and that was definitely Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. This is about 2 people who meet at an art institute. Reagan, who is a bit unpredictable, spontaneous, a wild child in a way, and Aldo, who is the complete opposite of her and finds her to be disturbingly chaotic. They end up meeting and having 6 conversations with each other that I just absolutely adored. I thought this to me was romance. It's exactly what I want from romance novels. What I'm always looking for is just 2 fucked up individuals who don't think they're good enough for each other but are incredibly intelligent, and the discussions, the conversations that they're having are like always formulated by these other nonsense subjects that don't really matter, but the love that they have for one another. They communicated via metaphorical theorems and intentionally flawed artwork to each other, but like it was perfect. This is romance to me, and it made me cry, and I absolutely loved it, and I would reread again. Honestly, I think I might. The next question is a book you saw on TikTok and regret reading. I don't have one for this year, I don't think. I have been avoiding some TikTok reads just because I don't find like I am the target audience for what Book Talk is reading right now. I'm happy that Book Talk has got people to read. People are enjoying reading, but it's just not the books that I'm really into right now. But maybe a book will explode on Book Talk. I'll read it. I'll enjoy it. Who knows? What is the most beautiful book you bought this year? This book wasn't bought by me, it wasn't purchased by me, but it's definitely the most beautiful book I acquired this year. I finally got the Barnes & Noble edition of Jurassic Park and the Lost World by Michael Crichton. I somehow convinced one of my friends to bring this to Canada for me because we don't have Barnes & Noble here, obviously, and thus we did not have this edition. But every other edition of Jurassic Park that I've been looking for is just ugly, or it's a mass market paperback, and I don't want to read from that. I want a nice cover because I think I will really enjoy this, and if not, I enjoy the movies enough that it was worth the efforts that I put into receiving this one. Obviously, if you don't know what this is about, Jurassic Park, it takes place in a time in whatever distant future you're thinking of, where technology has been created to clone dinosaur DNA. And creatures that have been extinct for centuries roam around Jurassic Park as a sort of tourist attraction until something goes wrong. So very excited to pick this up, finally read the text of it. Everybody that I've seen read Jurassic Park, who liked Jurassic Park, has liked Jurassic Park the book. So I don't think I'm going to be any different. The next question always makes me laugh, but it's what are the books you need to read by the end of the year? All of them. I have like 300 books on my TBR. I think I just need to read them. If I had to really think about it, I want to catch up on the Cosmere universe so that when I read Wind and Truth, I won't be too far behind. There are a couple of books in my backlist that I really want to get to. A lot of nonfiction has been appealing to me just based on the political goings-on of the entire world has been scaring me. And so there's a lot of nonfiction I think I need to read in order to be able to formulate my thoughts, combat them, and deal with what is going on. I have a lot of ideas for videos and stuff, but based on like how I've been feeling, I'm just gonna take it day by day and read whatever the hell I want to read. And the next question is favorite video you've made so far in 2024. Just making videos this year has made me proud. There's not necessarily a video that I am the most proud of, but I think I've been having a difficult time this year since obviously March. I haven't been feeling well. I have been extremely exhausted. So just putting out videos, having people comment and like them has just made me happy, and that's what I'm proud of. The next question about videos is a video you thought would flop but did well. I don't really care about that right now anymore. if I ever will. I'm just happy to post videos and have people watch them and comment them, and that always makes me feel better. Any upcoming videos you're excited to make? I do have some videos that I'm in the midst of doing. I have another video coming out of me finishing a series, which I always love to do because obviously I have a lot of series that remain unfinished on my shelves. So getting to them, finishing them, always makes you happy. I have an anticipated reads vlog coming out soon, which is where The Familiar will be read along with maybe a recent release from a Miss Sarah J. Maas. I also have like a dragon vlog idea to do. I have a like video game, reading books like my favorite video games vlog I want to do. So I have quite a few ideas. I have quite a few months to get those done and get those to you. So that makes me really excited, keeps me motivated to do some more vlogs. And then do I have any channel goals before the end of the year? This year, I don't want to put any pressure on myself to get a subscriber count, to get specific amount of views on my videos, nothing. I just want to be able to post. I want to be able to have fun. I want to be able to chat with people, to make friends, to talk about books that we all find interesting and enjoy. That's all I care about right now. I used to care about my subscriber count. I used to care about my views. I don't care about that anymore. I've reached a point where this is just fun to me. And that's all that matters. And that's it. That's all for today. Let me know down below if you did this tag. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me on something? What is your favorite book so far of 2024? I would love to know. If you'd like to follow my reading journey at all, I always leave a link down below to my Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram if you would like to follow me there. Of course, because it is the end of the vlog, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. It does wonders for my channel. It makes me feel really good. And that's it. I never know how to end these things, so I will see you next time, okay? Bye!